I'm literally the B in B.Simply.
So in this video, I am making lasagna soup, okay? Love lasagna soup, love it way more than lasagna. And, it's chilly, it's the fall, winter season. So I definitely wanted to make something very hearty and super good. So I will put the recipe in the description below to let you know, potential measurements that you could use. Now, I don't really measure. I'm not going to lie to you. But I get that measurements help people. So I'm going to make sure that I have all the measurements in the description box below the video. But I hope you enjoy the yap and watching me cook. So what I really want to talk about today, number one, this video is a day late and $1 god dang on short. Okay. I was supposed to put this out. I can't, this is probably at least 3 weeks to a month old at this point. But life happens, and I feel like life always happens when I'm in the midst of trying to be a consistent content creator. But I'm choosing not to be hard on myself about it because I'm doing this because I want to, and I'm doing this because it's fun, and I hope that it pays off. I am praying that I get to build a community that enjoys being a yapaholic and also enjoys cooking or wants to learn to cook more, or if you just like to play my videos in the background because it's good white noise. Whatever the case may be, I pray that I get to build a really good community here on YouTube. But the point of this is just for me to be as authentic as I can be, share, be relatable, and just, I don't know, live the best parts of my life and share them with you in the best ways that I can. Recently, let me say this about myself. As I've mentioned a couple of different times before already in this video, and we're only 2 minutes in, is that I talk too much. I am a yapaholic, and this also goes for like my personal business, things that I have going on. Like, I am just a tell a bitch about my life type of gal. Which reminds me that I probably should call my therapist again and get back in therapy, but I'm also looking for a new therapist because I kind of don't want to go back to the one that I had before. She's perfectly fine. She's 100% great. I'm just looking for something different. Like, I would like to be a little bit more action oriented in my approach to therapy rather than the emotional support that I feel like I've been getting the past 3 years. But anyway, that's not the point. I like to talk about my life a lot. And recently I experienced something with someone that I was dating that was very unpleasant. And it put me in a space where I felt like I had to make a very hard decision about if we were going to continue dating or not. And I chose to not continue dating because I really think it's important that, after this incident, I work on myself, he work on himself, and just focus on doing the work. Yeah, so I think it's important that we both focus on doing the work and take this time to do that. But why I say that I talk too much is because we had been dating for maybe 5 or 6 months or whatever like that. And as soon as I started posting him on my close friends a little bit more regularly, that's when shit hit the motherfucking fan. And I just felt like, well, I should have just kept my gosh dang on mouth closed. Like, I really should have just not said anything, just not said a single thing. But that's just super hard for me because I'm just so open, and I'm just not ashamed of anything. And I like to talk a lot. So it's just like, I'd rather talk about my business than somebody else's, to be quite honest with you. So, in my close friends, I spill my own tea, and I definitely put my close friends on Instagram in my business. And I wouldn't if I felt like there was anybody that would be malicious towards me. I would hope that there's nobody in my close friends that would be malicious towards the things that I just am vulnerable and open about on that space. But I be needing it. Like, I be needing the space to just kind of get it out. And maybe it'll be like a couple of days where I'll really be talking about something. Like, if something happens, it'll be a couple of days where I'm really talking about it. But after that, I really don't mention it. I really don't mention it much anymore. And I think what I'm learning is that I have to really work on not sharing everything. not sharing everything simply because everybody's not going to have the same reaction, especially if they love me and they support me and they care about me. They're not all going to have the same reaction of a negative experience that I've had that I'm going to have, right? Everybody doesn't look at my situations with my brain and my mind. So I, number one, have to learn to not tell everybody everything, because sometimes, specifically when it comes to relationships, all the aunties have always told you, when you get into a committed relationship with a person, don't tell anybody what y'all got going on, because you may forgive that person. Your family, your friends, it's going to be a little bit harder for them to forgive. They don't have the same shared experiences that you have with your intimate partner. So they're not going to be as forgiving or as willing to forgive as you might be, given that they hear about a negative situation that y'all might have experienced. And I kind of experienced that when it came to one of my friend's reactions about me kind of telling her what had happened. Her initial reaction kind of hurt my feelings a little bit, because I was just like, well, okay, relax. But I was just like, I should have thought about that before I said something to her, because her reaction is warranted. Like, she loves me, she cares about me, and for her, in her brain and her feelings and her emotions, if somebody that she loved had done, what my previous partner had done, that would be a deal breaker for her. And, I explained, like, why it wasn't a deal breaker and how I knew that it had nothing to do with me, though it was very hurtful. I knew it had nothing to do with me, and it really is more of a call to action for him to take care of himself, rather than for me it's not important for me to make this declaration that I'll never talk to you again, because it's really not about that. Like, because I'm somebody that cares and loves him so much, it's like, I really want you to take care of yourself. Like, I really want you to get some help, because this is not a part of your character. This is not something that I've ever seen before, that I've ever witnessed before. So it's like, yeah, I want you to handle that. Like, I want you to take care of that, whether you're with me or you're not with me, whether we end up together or we don't end up together. Because I care about you, I definitely want you to not ignore or avoid what you're obviously experiencing, what's obviously been avoided, and the reason why it's coming up the way that it's coming up. And another thing that I kind of learned within this situation from last Wednesday, from the Wednesday before Thanksgiving until today. Today is December 3rd. So y'all might see this on December 7th. Who goddamn knows? But from that Wednesday till today, I definitely learned that I knew that I talked too much, but I learned a little bit more about how sharing every aspect of my life with everybody that I love isn't always as beneficial. And I don't regret telling my friend, and I don't regret, telling my tribe or the people that I love. But what I do feel like is going into moving forward, I just am understanding that I have to be a little bit more considerate about what it is that I say and how I say things, especially when it comes to an intimate partner, because I very well may forgive my partner. My family, my friends, they don't necessarily have to. And I know that I'm not going to want to deal with them seeing my partner in a negative light. So it's like, I do have to be considerate of what it is that I'm saying and what it is that I'm sharing, if I know for a fact that I'm going to go back. Now, I acknowledge that I would be open to rebuilding a relationship, but it would have to be a completely new relationship. It would have to be completely different, and we can't have the same problems that we had before. Saying is that that's not an option right now. It's like, the answer is time. He needs time. I need time. We just need time. And if we find our way back to each other, beautiful, great, amazing, wonderful. If not, I'm grateful for the experience. I feel like he's also grateful for the experience that we've had together and we've learned, and it kind of just is what it is. This situation also taught me that I've learned the lessons that I needed to learn to make sure that I separate myself the first time that I recognize something that I really would not want to exist within my relationship. And I say that because I feel like in the past, I was a lot more susceptible to just, forgiving and trying to talk about it and trying to work on it and stuff like that. But it's not just about forgiving and trying to work on it, right? Like, it's about being confident in the fact that you're going to choose yourself over anything else. I am always in support of us and we and our relationship. But when our relationship, us and we, becomes a detriment to me individually, then it's time for me to choose myself. Then it's time for me to healthily detach from the situation and be selfish, because I'm doing myself a disservice. And it's really not good for us if I feel like the compromise is making me feel less worthy and less loved and less secure, less confident. Like it's never supposed to do any of those things. So I'm proud of myself. I said all that to say, I'm proud of myself for choosing me above the idea and the image of the relationship, the idea of me and him and the aspect and reality of me and him. I chose my own peace of mind and my own mental health and myself over the idea of us. And I'm also glad that I've realized in a different way and processed in a different way that I just can't share everything with everybody. So I don't know who this message is for. But if you feel like, you have a habit of telling everybody everything, there's nothing wrong with that. And there's nothing wrong with being open. And at the same time, sometimes you actually don't have to tell anybody anything. Because at the end of the day, you may get over it. Other people may not. And it'll be difficult for you to have moved past it and somebody else is still stuck with that thing. And always choose you. Always be confident in choosing yourself over anything else, especially when it comes to an intimate partnership or relationship, because nothing that is truly for you is going to do you a disservice. It's not going to feel unhealthy and incorrect and wrong and hurtful if it truly is for you. And it's okay to choose yourself. You don't have to stick around.